The following show is a paid program.
Hey family, how you doing today? We have got the best of the best in Atlanta with us. We've got Tiana and Clay from Molding the Clay. They're CEOs of podcasts, and also Miss Barbara Tatum, creator and executive producer of Women in the Life Atlanta, ATL. How you doing today? And Miss Barbara, chime right in. We see you.
Doing good.
Doing good. Doing good.
I'm so glad you all were able to come and be here in the studio. You guys just flew in, just got here. So excited. And Miss Barbara tuning in. And just the whole aspect of this whole venture of the LGBTQIA community. Just how pivotal that is, just trailblazing the way for the both of you all. Let's start off, Miss Barbara. We're not going to leave you out. We're going to shout out to you. Give us 5 minutes. We're going to hit up Tiana and Clay.
Thank you for inviting us. It's such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's definitely great to be here.
Yeah. Let's start off talking about how you actually came. First of all, Molding the Clay, your podcast. That's where I first started seeing you. Shout out to Royalty, my creative director. She said her best friend here. Absolutely. She says, you got to get him on the show. I said, absolutely.
Absolutely. So definitely shout out to Royalty, my best friend, 17 years. And then a big shout out to Black Ink Radio and Rich Mo. We have a relationship podcast that we air every Friday evening, in which we just talk about different relationship issues. We bring special guests on our podcast as well to try to get their insights. And we just try to just spread the love because we understand that everybody has a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a family member. Every day you encounter a relationship with somebody. So that's how our podcast came about.
Absolutely. Miss Barbara, jump right in. Women in the Life. How did that come about? That's a reality show that's getting ready to start off, coming very soon. LGBTQIA community, ATL.
Well, Cam, thank you for inviting me to the show. Just to give you a little bit background of Women in Life reality show. It started back in 1999 when I did a calendar trying to promote us, to show us as well, that we are also women, but we also live a different type of lifestyle. We wanted to bring the light to the life, and I started that with a calendar. And then 22 years later, it became into fruition as we speak. So.
Wow, I love that. As the creator and the executive producer of this, why this reality show and why now?
Well, I think it's very pivotal for the community right now because people always portray us as something different. And I wanted to show life concept about us. I wanted to bring the life and what it means to be in the life. And the life isn't limited to just one preference. It means positivity. It means understanding and love and success. And we are women in life. That's what it means. And that's why I think it's pivotal to bring it to the forefront right now.
I'm glad you said that. I want to talk to Tiana and Clay, a married couple, and you all have a beautiful family together. And
Thank you.
As far as just the world to see and just the openness of you all are trailblazers, including Miss Barbara, the same thing, trailblazers and champions for the community. Let's talk a little bit about, and we were talking about parents, right?
Right.
And with your parents, how did your parents take that? Starting with you, Clay, just a little bit, the parents.
So my coming out story was a little rough. So I come from a very religious background on my mother's side and my father's side as well. So I'll never forget the day. One of my older brothers, I was in high school, and he knew I was on the phone with a young lady all of the time. It was my high school sweetheart.
Right.
And one day he just sat me on the bed. He just said, "Little sis," he said, "I'm gonna ask you a question." He said, "But I want you to know that you can be 100% honest with me. I'm not gonna judge you. I'm gonna support you 100%. If anybody has anything to say, I'm gonna always defend you." He asked me, he said, "Is she your girlfriend? Are you dating her?" And I just looked at him and smiled, and I said, "Yep, I am." And so from that point, he gave me a hug, because I guess so many people are scared to walk in their truth.
Right.
So at that point, I had to come out to my mom. And when I came out to my mom, it was a little rough at first. She actually told me I probably need to go see a psychiatrist.
Right. Right.
But the
Right.
fact that I stayed in my truth, I didn't change for anyone. And I think when my family saw that and saw that, hey, this is who Clay really is.
Right.
You know, they began to accept it. Now my family loves my wife, loves
Right.
my children, proud of the person that I am today. So I just say, walk in your truth and own it.
Right. Right. Let's go with you, Miss Tiana. How did that work with family?
I think for me, it was very easy for me. I didn't come out to my family. My kids actually told. My kids told on me. My oldest two daughters, they might have been maybe about 4 or 5.
Right.
And they told my mom that I had a girlfriend. And my mom called me and said, "Tiana, do you have a girlfriend?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Okay, well, it's probably just a phase, but okay." But from that moment, I mean, I never had really backlash from my family like that. They've, they've been supportive.
Right.
For the most part. And I mean, it just went on from there. I mean, I didn't really have issues with my family like that. My whole family is kind of in the life for the most part.
Yeah.
My mom had a gay best friend. My uncle was gay. And so it was just kind of well known in my family.
Okay.
So for me, it was a lot easier for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Barbara, we're going to call you B. B, what about
That's
you?
correct. Well, it's almost similar to Clay's, because I come from a strong religion background family. But my mom already knew, my grandmother already knew, but once my daddy found out, he wanted to commit me.
Right.
But it was, I kept continuing to live my truth regardless. I wanted to be free, be me, be authentic me. And so my family loved me. They loved my wife. My wife passed 2 years ago. We was together for 20 years. And my mother loved her dearly. And my grandmother, she said, "Hey, this is my granddaughter. What she wants to do, whatever her life wants to be, we going to love her." And prove them who, I became successful. That's what they look at. They look at us like we not, nothing. Like we don't have anything going on, But I proved them wrong. Clay proved them wrong. Just to love, that my family chose, and my friends, So,
Yeah.
but,
And B, I want you to expound on that part a little bit. When someone is not living it at this point, you know what I'm saying? When they're having a hard time with family, they already know they have a religious family or so. What would we say to them at this point?
Well, I would say, some of us, we don't look at this, but it's not that we are crazy or anything. I think that we should visit counseling. It's a lot of counseling service there, for us to go to attend to, and be able to talk about your problem, because we got a lot of youth that are committing suicide.
Right.
Because
That's what we're talking about.
So therefore, if anybody listening that's youth, don't be afraid. Just go out and live your truth and seek counseling, to get you through that. If it's somebody, like I have a niece, and she came out to me and she said, "Auntie, I want you to help me to live this lifestyle." So, I'm guiding her in the direction she needs to take, what path and what mistakes that I made not to make, So get someone that you trust. If it's not a counselor, somebody you trust. There are plenty of groups out there that will help you, that will reach out to the young folks. Need to reach out to the resource, because it's out there now. Because back then we didn't have that.
Right.
We was in the closet with the clothes. You know what I mean? So,
Right. Right. Let's talk. Clay, you mentioned something. Let's talk about that, about the same thing that B was talking about. What do you think? Because it took you some time with your family.
I think for me, because at that time I had people around me that were older than me that were in the life that I can kind of go to for support.
Right.
So that played a major part in me having that support system. And then my wife, of course, back when she came out, there were, and still is today, there are LGBTQIA houses that provide the support for people who have families that disown them.
Wow.
They'll take them in. You'll have a house mother, sometimes a house father,
Really?
house brothers and sisters, and you're a family, and that's who you lean on, and you take care of each other and lift each other up.
Yeah.
I think that that's very, very important in our community.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of people end up homeless.
Yeah. I was a house mother. Mm-hmm. And I may have took in about 15 young adults
Right.
in my home. I had a 3-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
And I took in about 15 teenagers in my home.
Wow.
And I cared for them. I love them. I still love them today.
Right.
I helped them get through school. I helped them get jobs. And I treated them like they were my babies because they were.
Right.
And to see someone, family, disown you just because of who you choose to love, I just could not see them out there in the street like that.
And these are teenagers a lot of
Yes.
times
Yes.
that they're letting go. The youngest, some young teenagers,
Yeah.
right? 14,
the
15?
the youngest one I took in was 16.
16 years old. And to go out in the world, not knowing the world, but not to know your family, you would end up homeless.
Yeah.
And they still call her mama to this day.
Right.
I hear we go out and I hear somebody say mama, and I'm looking around like,
Right.
who are they talking to?
Right.
And
Me?
they talking to
Yeah.
my wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
My babies, and they're super grown now. I think the youngest one now is 26.
Really? Wow. And for you to just take them in like that, house them?
I still will today.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's heartbreaking
Yeah. Yeah.
because even though I didn't get put out of my home because of my lifestyle, I would never see, or it would never sit right with me to see a child out there hoping and wishing for somebody to love them, their parent to love them, and for you to disown them.
Right.
It's not fair.
Right.
They didn't ask to be in this world. They didn't ask to even be gay.
Yeah.
They didn't ask for that.
Right.
So I felt like it was my purpose to be there for them, regardless of what it is that they needed.
Wow.
So
B, I'm listening to this right now, and I hear exactly what's happening. More of these need to be set up, it seems.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I think it's been around for a minute because when I came out, they had houses for for the youth that's homeless that their parents kicked them out. And shout out to Pose because Pose did a great job
Yes,
explaining
absolutely.
Yes.
house mothers. So
Wow.
so that they it's much needed and it's still needed. So we're gonna look into that. Women in life. We probably have a house called Women in Life. Everyone is welcome.
That's good.
That's amazing.
As a reality show, why so reality and not versus a movie or series or something else? Why the show in itself, the creative part?
We want to show the authentic. We want to show the real, the truth of
Right.
of the life. What we go through. The same thing. And we want to be able to show that. And we chose to do it in reality.
I like that. Why did you choose to come on board as a family?
We chose to come on board as a family because a lot of times people want to tell you your story. They want
Yes.
to tell you about your community, what it is that you're doing. When they really don't know, they're uneducated. So the best person to tell our story and show the world how we live in our community is for us to show it uncut.
I like that. As far as your podcast is concerned, going back a little bit, how did it get started? How did you decide a podcast? And really, how did you decide what topics and things you wanted to put on it?
I think the way our podcast started was me and my wife have been together for almost 10 years. We've been married for 3 years in May. A lot of our friends tend to come to us for relationship advice.
Right.
We've both been married before. We've been through this. We know the struggles of a relationship, raising kids, and we know how to get through those things. And so we decided, why not talk about it?
Right.
Why not share our information to the world? Not only sharing that information to everyone, but also showing the world our relationship and our family and how we get through those trials and tribulations of a marriage. And not just because we're lesbians, because we have the same issues heterosexual people have.
Right.
And we just wanted to broadcast that. And our topics, they just come up. Sometimes our fans will come in our inbox and say, well, can you guys talk about that this week?
Right.
Or sometimes we're laying around and talking. We're like, ooh, I got a topic.
Right.
And we'll talk about that. So it's different ways of how we get our topics. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when it started, my wife had asked me to do a podcast a long time ago. And I was like, no, I don't want to be in the spotlight. Let me just be in the background.
Yes.
And so when she did her first, we actually started doing a podcast from our formal living room. On
Really?
Facebook
Yeah.
Live. So when she did her first podcast, she asked me and my ex-wife to be a guest. And so we were a guest on there, had a really good show, really good
How
turnout.
did you think about that when she said you and your ex-wife? How was that?
It was so great.
Was it?
It was a really
Yeah,
good show.
it was really good.
It was a really good
Okay.
show.
It was
really
Yeah,
good.
we got a lot of positive feedback, and the world was able to see how you can be adults about situations because we still co-parent. We have a daughter together, so
Right.
we still co-parent. So the fact that we can still be adults about the situation, we can still have a friendship, and her and my wife can have a friendship as well.
Right.
So after that show aired, everyone thought it was her and I's show. And I was like, no, I'm just on here for the first episode. It's not my show. I
Right.
was more behind the scenes, making sure the cameras was running.
Right.
It was uploaded.
She was, yeah.
And then she did like the next 3 by herself. And then on Christmas, one of her Christmas gifts from me, I set her up a podcast studio in the garage. Bought her all podcast equipment. And then from there, my wife did a little bit of networking and sent over to Black Ink Radio our podcast that we did, the first podcast that we did, and we had a meeting with them. Energy was
Great.
everything
It
with
was
Black
wonderful.
Ink Radio and Rich Mo. And so from that point, we knew we wanted to do it with Black Ink Radio, and then we knew we wanted to talk about relationship discussions.
Sounds good. We'll take a break right here. We'll be right back on the Cam Hill Show.
To the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month, both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
Now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, thanks so much, family. I wanted to do something very special for you. DNP Productions, Diana Patterson, she wanted to make sure she was part of this. She wants to do, there's a video, let's show it. Hey, thanks so much. That's Diana Patterson, DNP Productions, my executive producer, but she's also the one sponsoring the show today, and we want to thank her for that. We want to just jump right back in here. Jump right back in here with us with Women in the Life. Right before we show some of the parts of the video, let's talk a little bit about the creativity of this project real quick. I know we talked about how it started, what you were thinking on, but what would you like to relate to the world as you go along the way?
Well, I like to relate to the world that Women in Life is a reality series which we're going to highlight the lives and upscale professionals of the ladies that identify in the LGBTQ plus. We know it's a lot of acronyms, but just the show is designed to dispel the myth of the stereotypes of the chronicle of the lifestyles that are successful women in the LGBT community. So we wanted to basically just highlight, the women that are in the life, what they're doing. It's a lot of professional women that's in the life and that people don't know of, that they are in the life. So we wanted to just basically identify that. And like Clay said earlier, we wanted to tell our story.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's do this right now. Let's look at some behind the scenes of Women in the Life, ATL.
Women in the Life, ATL. We coming for you. We coming for you. I felt some type of way. Let me have my moment. That's right, baby. We make progress in Atlanta, so we slide up in your DMs going, how do you do? We already got one.
It ain't a picture, it's footage. It's footage. Welcome. have on black, so it's easy to make it work. It's hard when it's a pattern.
Get it done.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, B, I love that, love that, love that. Wanted to touch base, just ask Clay and Tiana, bullying is really a big thing in the LGBT community. What do you tell children and young people about that, about bullying?
So I can speak to what we talk to our children about,
Right?
Because our children typically talk to us about everything. So we make sure our children, that's definitely something that's unacceptable in our household,
Right.
Exactly.
in any shape, form, or fashion. So we talk to our children about that. We try to tell our children that everybody is different.
Right.
You don't want to be the person at school that's bullying anybody. You want to be the person that's lending that helping hand. So if somebody is talking about somebody and don't want to sit with them at the lunch table, you want to be that leader that goes sit over at the lunch table with them, and just embrace them, because everybody is different.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely do not tolerate bullying in our family. We teach our children to love everybody. We also teach them, like Clay said, that if you see it happening, be there for that person, be there for that child, because bullying leads to suicide.
Yes.
And that's something that you don't, if you see it, tell it. You know, my son had actually had an incident at school one time where a kid was being bullied in school, and they just mistreated him. They wouldn't sit with him at the table, and my son, stood up for him. He stood up for him. He sat with him at the lunch table, told him, that I'll be your friend. It's okay.
Right.
Don't let them get to you like that. And I was very proud of him for that, because that's what we teach him.
Right.
So we definitely want to let the young people out there know that if this is happening, tell somebody.
Right.
Don't keep it to yourself,
Yes.
because if you keep that bottled in, again, that's how that leads to suicide or other things.
Right.
So let somebody know so that we can help you.
Absolutely. And it can be cyberbullying too.
I was just about to say.
Right.
Yes, 'cause-
On the internet, or on your phone or whatever digital device that you're using, it can be that way too.
That's
Yes.
absolutely
Which
true.
is sometimes worse.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
I've even seen, had people to talk about the fact of they be bullied while they're playing the video games, through the PS5 or whatever it is. They've been bullied through there.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true, and I'm glad you brought that point up, because in our day when we were growing up, we didn't have social media
Absolutely.
like that. If you experienced a form of bully, it was mainly in person,
Right.
or over the phone. But we didn't have social media. Now social media just takes bullying to a whole nother level.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And parents need to check their kids' phones, check
Yes.
what they're doing on social media, because sometimes our children are not going to always tell us
Right.
what's going on social media. Either they're scared or embarrassed or for whatever reason. But it's our job as parents to know what our children are doing, what's being said to them. So we check our kids' stuff.
Absolutely. I like that. I like that. B, jump right in here. I love the fact that you do the positive part of that. Did you want to say something about bullying also?
Yeah, I do, because like Clay said, we didn't have stuff like that when we was growing up, social media, and to be honest with you, I was never bullied because I didn't tolerate it, And then when my daughter came along, and I explained to her when she was like 4 or 5, because as you're gonna see people different in your class, you're gonna see somebody like me, so I let her know about my lifestyle, so she'll know what to look for.
Right.
And don't bully those kids. And if they're bullying you, I always tell me. She always tell me everything. Some things I don't even want to hear, but I have taught her to tell me,
Right.
so I can, jump ahead on that and make sure that she's taken care of. But it is right that kids will commit suicide, because I had a cousin who did that,
Right.
committed suicide, just she's from Carolina, just maybe about 5 years ago. So
I'm glad you're
so it's
mentioning
very-
that because it's reality. A lot of people don't think it's real. They don't think that it could lead up to it.
Right.
Because like you said, it can really happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
It can really happen. Also, B, I'm glad we're staying with this part. As you're doing the reality show and you're doing the lives of real married couples or just singles, if that comes about, right? Just showing the life of the positivity. I think we don't understand that everyone has really a lot of the same things. We have to pay, everybody has to pay the same bills, things like that. I don't think they take it serious, right?
Yes, and that's why I wanted to do the show, and so far as let them know that we have the same issues that you guys have. We have family, we have dogs. We got to go to the grocery store. We got to clean up.
Right.
We got to cook. Pay bills. So I wanted to show them that we are the same as you. We just love different. So.
Absolutely. As you all, as wife and wife, in looking at this, and you go out in public, what would you like for the world to see about as far as your life is concerned?
I think for our life is concerned is that we're definitely unique. Everybody's unique in their own
Absolutely.
way. But we're definitely going to demand respect. And we just want the world to see like we're like a normal couple. We
Right.
like Barbara said, we go through normal things that any heterosexual couple will
Absolutely.
go through. It just looks a little bit different for us, but we will be respected at the end of the day.
Right, and I think that's the demand that needs to. I
Yes.
think that's what's been happening. I think through Pride Week, we just came out of the Pride really month, was it?
Yeah.
So much at different locations. Just coming out of that, I understood that information was out there. That is respect. That's very huge now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think, and especially coming out of COVID, and we're coming out in just a different, more thought processes of mortality.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You see the world a little different now. That reality is that we're demanding respect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think
that's
that's
it.
extremely important. That's why myself and our other cast members, we're so very grateful to B and to Donna for Film, who's B's partner with the reality show Women in the Life. We're so very grateful to them for opening up the door
Right.
for
Yes.
us to be able to share our truth with the world and show
Right.
the world how we live so they can be educated and not just assume.
Be the uneducation that you see that we have. Let's tap into some of the things that we need to be educated on and try to understand on some things about women in the life, just the education, right? As far as, and I'll just do it this way. Men like to come up to women, even though they may see, now let's just be honest, they see Clay with her wife, right?
Right.
And we need to understand what's the boundaries.
It's one word: respect.
There you go.
That's who she chose to be with, and you got to respect it. because she's more femme, and Clay's more masculine. You just got to respect that. That's who she chose to be with.
Right.
It's just one word. Round it up to one word: respect.
And they're a married
just
couple.
like-
And they're a married couple.
And they are married.
Absolutely.
Just like I don't want to go to somebody who's heterosexual and you married. To just say, for instance, this scenario, a woman come up to me, want to talk, slid in my DM, and found out she's married. I said, I don't do that.
Right.
That's like disrespecting. What if it was opposite? It'd be disrespecting all over around the whole surface, disrespecting.
Right.
So.
And I believe that that's what we're trying to put out today is about respect.
Exactly.
The community itself, the whole entire community,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Just the respect.
Yeah.
Because you get that a lot, disrespect, right?
They don't take it serious.
Right.
They think it's for play.
It's a phase.
It's a phase.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's not. And just because you feel that way, do not give you the right or permission to be disrespectful. It just doesn't.
Right. And marriage. You all are married. It's not a life partner. You all are married.
Right.
Legally.
Legally. Legally married.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And what does that mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
it means a lot.
It means a lot.
It means a lot because
That true commitment.
we fought for this.
Yes.
We fought for that moment for us to have the same rights as heterosexual couples.
Right.
You know, if something was to ever happen to her, God forbid,
Right.
in the hospital, I want to be able to be that person that can be there to make those decisions for her when she can't. I don't want my family to do it. I don't want her family to do it.
Right.
I want to be that. I'm living this life with her. I'm raising these children with her. We're co-parents and paying these bills together. I have that right.
Right.
You know, and so for them to finally say, I have that right.
Right.
That was the best feeling in the world.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
And just to know that I don't have to worry about anything like when it comes to our children, because biologically our children are my wife. So when it comes to my children, like she said, if God forbid something ever happens, I know that I'm taking my kids with me.
Right.
You know, I'm taking my kids with me. And then the fact that I always smile. So when she's handling business and I hear them say, "Okay, Miss Clay, are you ready?" I just start smiling like, "Yeah, that's my wife." You hear that, Miss Clay?
Yes. I'm glad you're putting that light on it of what does marriage truly mean.
Yes.
Right.
What's the
Definitely a
legal part
partnership.
of marriage? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What does it really give you the right to do? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's that true definition of a partnership.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what we have. Yeah. You know, a lot of people put these gender roles
Right.
because she's more masculine. They feel like she has to be the one that's more responsible, take care of it. And because that's how normally it is in the heterosexual world, but we share the responsibilities.
Right.
You know, we don't conform to that gender role
Right.
thing. You know, we're still both women.
Right.
You know, so we all share the same responsibilities in the house. If I cook,
Now she won't push the lawnmower, take trash out, carry groceries in.
and she won't cook,
And I
so
won't
we're
cook.
even.
So we're even. We're even.
So yeah,
I saw Clay come on. I said, yeah, she got
Share responsibilities. Wait a minute.
we had to correct that.
I love
really.
it. I love that. I love that.
She ain't lying,
I
though.
love the fact that you all are putting a light on it, right?
Yeah.
We're being very clear about what's happening, and then just the topic of marriage. What does that truly mean to the world, right? And even in a heterosexual world, about what that means, marriage and life partners, right? What the law requires
Right.
with that. So like you said, I'm glad you said that, because of the fact that if she did get sick, or if you got sick, one of the two, you know,
Yeah.
you have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's most important.
So true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And then the
So
other
true.
thing too is that even as far as work is concerned, health insurance, you know, 401ks, and just all the other things, life insurance, just things that are happening down the line, the legalities of it. And that's what I heard. B, I heard you. Prayers to you about your partner, you know, your wife.
We had everything. We was, married. Everything. She was on everything. When she passed, I had to make a decision, and her family, sort of got kind of mad, and the doctor said no. Her partner makes all decisions, because we had a directive, in the hospital.
Right.
I made all decisions. And it was so true. She was on my insurance. I was on her insurance, and I'm still on the insurance, and I get her benefits. As being married, because it was legal.
Right.
So.
And I'm glad you're
It's
putting
so
a light on that in Women in the Life, just letting people understand the legalities part of that. That happened.
Yeah.
That actually is needed.
Yeah.
Because you can be a life partner and not get the benefits at the end of the day. Had you all been together 20 years and not been married.
Right.
Yeah. And it's still, like you said beforehand, they didn't have that, So thank God for Obama for passing that, so we can have the same benefits, So that's so true, So anybody who needs to look into that legally,
right?
Because you don't want to be left out when the time has come and you don't have no rights.
Yeah.
So I have a friend that's going through that right now. So.
Wow. All right. Let's take a break on the Cam Hill Show.
To the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, thank you so much, family. We're back with Tiana, Clay, and Barbara. We were just talking amongst ourselves, but B, I want to get you in here. Let's talk about deciding on children. Let's say we have a couple. They're just gotten married and everything, but now they're thinking about having children. They don't want a male partner part of their, their marriage or anything. But they want children. Let's talk about children and how to do that. What are some ways?
Well, there's many ways that you can go about having a baby in a lesbian relationship. There's in vitro fertilization. There's home insemination. Just about any way that you can go about doing it at all.
Right.
I mean, if you want to go about having a baby and you want it to be very reasonable, I would suggest doing home insemination first.
Right.
It's free. You don't have to worry about paying all this extra money to go have a doctor do it. And so, which is how me and Clay went about doing it. We tried to get pregnant for 2 years, and unfortunately it did not happen for us.
Right.
But, I have the knowledge of it. I've helped many women out there get pregnant that way. And so there's many ways out there that you can get pregnant as a lesbian,
Now, B, she just helped a whole lot of heterosexual single women. look, B, she helped a lot of. They said, "Wait a minute, what she say now?"
I was writing it down.
You write it down too. B said she was writing it down too.
And it's funny. It's funny because a lot of women don't know that. You can actually buy the kit on Amazon.
Wait a minute.
Oh my God!
Look at it. Look, she just sold Amazon. Jeff Bezos just went up to another $1 billion.
I think what it is when you're an adult and you come out to your family, the first thing that the grandparents think is, I'm not going to have no grandbabies.
Right.
That'd be really the only thing. They can probably care less about you,
right,
about your lifestyle. This
right.
is about the grandbabies.
Yes.
But there are options out there. You just have to talk to your OBGYN, do your research, talk to people who's done it before to educate yourself. But you can't add to your family.
Yeah. Well, she just increased B. She just increased Amazon. Jeff Bezos just went out to another $30-40 billion.
I need a piece of that.
Hey, he need to give you a cut on that.
He need to give a cut on that. Right. She said Amazon, and all the ladies said, "Oh, I got a Prime account."
They on there looking for it.
Let me put it in my shopping cart.
Right. And it's so easy too. It's very simple process.
Wow.
2 minutes.
So many. Look, she said 2 minutes. Then she got these single ladies at home. And they've only wanted children, you know, they want a child.
Yeah.
But let's talk to them about, and because there's a stigma, like you said, right? The grandparents are thinking that, but also there's a stigma that you spoke about that when you see both when you see a lesbian couple and they're pregnant, you always think backtrack, right?
Right, backtrack. There was a man involved. She backtracked. She went and got pregnant by a man. That's not true.
Right.
You know, we don't have to go to a man to get pregnant. You know, there's doctors out there. You can do it yourself, like I said. You know, when it's a real true lesbian and she's really in this life, you know, we're going to go about it the medical way to make it happen.
Right.
You know, doesn't matter how much it costs.
Right.
Because we want to be mothers. And that's another thing, that just because we're lesbians does not mean that we do not want to be a mother.
Right.
Just because Clay is very masculine does not mean she does not want to be a mother.
Right.
She's still a woman. We still have that intuition to where we want to be mothers. We want to raise children.
Right.
You know, and so we're going to make it happen. So
I'm glad you cleared that part up too.
Yeah.
About just being the parent, being the mother of the children.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what's needed a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I think we look at is that through your marriage, having children, that you think that all your children then are of the life. And that's not true.
No, that's not true at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I've known so many of the life, their children heterosexual and go on with their own, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't look at you and decide they wanted that life. They look at you at two moms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's true.
And that's how it happened with my daughters, because our two oldest daughters are lesbians, and our friends and family automatically assumed that they came out this way because I'm that way. And that wasn't the case at all. My oldest daughter, who is 26 now, she was 12 when she told me that she was a lesbian. My other daughter, that's 22 now, she came out, she was 16. And I mean, they've never had a boyfriend. They've never even thought about, you know, being with a guy at all. And they'll tell you today, this is not because my mom is that way. This is just who I am.
Right.
And I already knew that this is the way that they were going to be before they even told me that this is how they were going to be. I'm the mom.
Yeah.
You know. And so, you know, they have fiancés now. They're grown. They have fiancés. They want to have children. Mom is going to help them have those babies, because those are going to be my grandbabies.
I want some grandkids.
And they tell us that all the time. They was like, "Mamas, we're going to have y'all some grandkids. Don't worry, we're going to have." But they're trying to get their careers and stuff together, you know, and before they do that. So, but I'm excited. I'm ready to be a grandmother.
Are you?
Yes. I'm going to be a grandma.
A grandma.
Yeah.
A grandma, isn't that right, B? A grandma.
You're going to be a granny.
I want to be granny.
Look, you want to be granny. B, what about you?
Well, like I said, this is all new. I'm from the old school, so we didn't have. It's like, you know, you got to go through the regular process to have a baby. You know, we didn't have all this when I was thinking about having a kid. You know.
Yeah.
Now you can freeze your eggs. You know, you can go all through that. You get all the stuff on Amazon, like Miss Clay said. You know, you can do all that stuff. But I didn't have all that. But I am very supportive. You know, and like they said, you know, it's not like it was in my days. You know, it was very difficult. You know, and then sometimes some people of my caliber or masculine, they didn't think about having no kids. You know? So I really respect and it brings a insight to me. So okay, let me write a storyline on this,
Right.
because I didn't know, then now I know. So.
About that part, right? That's good. That's good,
Yeah,
especially
about
about children. Yeah, a lot of people, and even if you come into a marriage like you did, co-parenting, and parenting, right? Putting, already having children.
Yeah, that's something. Ooh, it was a rough start at first,
Right?
It was a rough start at first because when you're coming into an already established family,
Yes.
There's certain things that they live by, a certain way that they do things. So you're blending different personalities together.
Right.
You were raised a certain way. I was raised a different way. So it's all about communication. Talking about everything when it comes to the children and getting on one page. We may not think the same way in the beginning. We may have had different views on particular situations, but at the end of the day, we communicated.
That's it.
And if we couldn't communicate effectively, then we would go to counseling and talk through those different things. And now I can say is wonderful.
Wow.
As far as now our communication when it comes to our children.
Good.
And we had to go to counseling.
Yeah. But I just some things happen. Like discipline is another thing.
Yeah.
Right.
A discipline is very huge. Not only in LGBTQ community, right? But heterosexual community. Just
absolutely.
understanding when you're blending a family, and that family, that those children have been under mom, and then you've got another mom to come in, and just the thought process of how. Because many children will try the new mom.
Oh yeah.
When mom is gone somewhere, they're gonna try new mom.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. No matter whether it's the LGBTQI plus community or the heterosexual world, a step parent is still a step parent.
Yes.
It don't matter how you look at it.
Yes.
And them kids are gonna try you.
They're gonna try.
And it's gonna cause issues in your marriage. It's gonna cause a little bit of everything. But as the parents, you have to find a way to work through that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. I wanted B to come back. B, what would you like to leave with the viewers? I want you to say that. What would you like to leave with the viewers about Women in the Life, ATL?
I want to leave with them. Just watch us and see where we're going and see where we're headed. Because we're just not going to be in Atlanta. It's a franchise, and we're going to be all over the United States and possibly the international. And just basically, we designed the show to get away from all the stereotypes and the lifestyle of successful women, and just watch us, And I also want to give a shout out to my partner Donna for films. I don't want to leave her out. She's supposed to be here with us. So again, Women in Life TV, we coming for you, and just support us,
Sounds good. Thank you, Thank you, Barbara, creator and executive producer of Women in Life ATL. I want to thank you all, Tiana and Clay, Molding the Clay, CEO podcast, and also stars of Women in the Life ATL. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's exciting. Thank you so much for coming, family. The Cam Hill Show, 12:30, 1:30 Central Standard Time. See you then. Bye.